Hello, today I want to show you how to create a works cited entry for the required source for Essay 1. Some of you submitted a really nice looking Essay 1 rough draft. You've written a review with identified criteria and used the scoring system, and that's all great. But there is one important requirement for this essay, which is the required outside source. And I want to make sure no one loses points unnecessarily by not including the outside source. And I also just want to make sure you're all learning how to do this important skill because more of it's coming your way for Essay 2, Essay 3, and all the essays you write in college. By and large, you're going to be asked to incorporate outside sources and cite them and create a references page and in-text citations. So I'm going to pretend I'm Taylor Swift today, and I just got my feedback from my instructor, and she said that it looked really good, but I need to incorporate my outside source. So I've written my essay about Kings Island. And so my first step is to figure out what source I want to use for this paper. And so I'm going to just do an internet search. I'm going to open up an internet browser here. And I'm going to find the official Kings Island website. Okay, so it's here, visitkingsisland.com. Okay, here I am at Kings Island's main website. It seems like this is the home page. And so the point of incorporating this outside source into my essay is to provide my reader with some credible background information about the thing I'm reviewing. So for a place like Kings Island, I'm thinking like some basic statistics about when it was opened, how big it is, how many rides, where it's located. And so I'm just kind of looking around here, and typically if your website has a media center, that's the place to start because that has all the marketing information. So I'm going to click on media center. Other key phrases to look for are about us or our story. Those kinds of links tend to get you where you need to be. So I'm going to scroll down here. Oh wow, look at this. Descriptions of the park with a different word count. So here's a 100-word description of the park. Okay, more than 100 rides. 15 roller coasters. And then we've got the water park. That's pretty cool. I'm going to keep scrolling. Ah, park history. Mason, Ohio, April 29th, 1972. Okay. Wow, look at all this stuff. I'm going to click on today's Kings Island. Okay, awesome. I can use any of this information in my essay in the introduction and it would be appropriate. But let's start with making a works cited entry for a work on a website. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up my Blackboard page and I'm going to go to my Little Seagull ebook chapters. I'm going to go down to my MLA section. At this point, you may be asked for a username and a password. It's the same one as you use in 011 for inquisitive. And I'm looking for works cited, list of works cited, and I need the work on a website. So I know that's under here under websites. It's not the entire website, it's just the one section we're looking at. So I'm going to click here and look at this template, work on a website. So we're looking for an author, the title of the work, which means web page in this context, the title of the website, the publisher, that's the organization that has posted the website, the date that it was posted, the URL, that's the web address, and then we need the date that we're accessing it, which would be the literal day that I'm looking at this web page. And then we have an example right here. All right. So first, let's look for an author. We have a contact here, Chad Showalter. I'm not convinced he's the author though. Usually these corporate websites do not show an author, and I'm not seeing one. So that means I skipped that part of the template. So what's next? The title of the web page. Well, we're on the Kings Island website, but what web page are we on? Usually it's bolded or in a larger font. You can often find it listed in the web address. I'm going to say definitely the title of this web page is Media Center. So that's the beginning of our works cited. Back to my essay. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter until I get to the top of the next page, and I'm going to center it and give it a title, Work Cited. This time around, we just have one source, so it's just one work. Okay, so we said Media Center, so that goes in quotation marks, and I know that because of the template. All right, let's go back to that template again. What's next? Title of site. That is, to the best of your ability, tell us what is the title of the website. And so I think it stands to reason that the website is Kings Island. Yes, the web address is visitkingsisland.com, but just explaining it to another person, what is this website? It's the Kings Island website. So that's what I'm going to put, Kings Island. And then I need to put a comma. How do I know that? Because that's what the template says to do. I'm going to highlight this and hit Control I to put it in italics. Okay, moving along. Next, we have the publisher. Now, for a corporate website like this, my best advice to you is to scroll all the way down and find the copyright symbol, which is that C with the circle around it. It looks like we have dual publishers, which is a weird situation, and I'm just going to use my best judgment and use the first listed from left to right, and that is Cedar Fair Entertainment Company. And so I'm worried about my memory, so I'm going to highlight this and hit Control C and go back to my works cited, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to go under my paste options and pick the one that says keep text only so I don't bring over any funky formatting. Comma space. All right, back to the template. The date that it was posted or published to the web. So we're going to have to go back to our Kings Island site, scroll down, and we're looking at this copyright year, which is 2020. So it's an up-to-date website. Sometimes you'll find websites that are a few years old. And you know, I had already kind of looked through the rest of this web page to see if there were any obvious dates posted, and there weren't. And if there isn't something posted right at the top, just scroll to the bottom and look for that copyright. So now I have to put 2020, 2020, comma, space. Back to the template. Okay. URL. That is the website. It's like the web address. And so you can see the example right here. Please note that in MLA, we get rid of the ugly stuff at the beginning of it. So I'm going to highlight this, visit kingsisland.com/media-center. That's not so bad as far as web addresses go. Control C. I'm going to come back to my entry, right click, paste the text only, and then hit the period and space. And look what it has done. It has added back the HTTP. It has turned it blue, all sorts of crazy stuff. So I'm going to right click on it and select remove hyperlink, and that's going to get rid of the blue and the underlining. And then on my own, I'm just going to backspace over that stuff. Okay, next step. Access date. So I put accessed, past tense, and then I put the full date of today, the day I'm looking at it. Accessed 8 June 2020, period. All right, so I'm almost done. I've made my works cited entry, but there's an important step here. You need to highlight it, and you need to go to your paragraph area here, and we want a hanging indent of 1/2 inch. So I'm going to select that. And so if this works cited page had several sources, the beginning of each entry kind of sticks out to the left here, and then the subsequent lines are indented in. Another way to do the hanging indent is to highlight it, and you can manipulate it using, if you have your ruler showing on Word, you can drag it to 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm going to stop my video here, and I'll make a second video that explains in-text citations. If this went too fast for you, just go back and watch it again.